the fans are really listening super closely to everything. So sometimes I'll write a source track, which is playing in a club upstairs, like in Fantasia, that I don't think, I mean, I can barely hear it. And there are emails the next day about what's that track. And it's just so nice to, given the amount of time we spend alone in a room as composers, it's really nice to know at last that everything I'm writing is really being listened to. And it's a really fulfilling feeling to have.
Nathan, you mentioned earlier that Alan wanted you to not make it too Southern, but the Louisiana setting of the show is a big influence. Can you talk a bit about how it kind of plays in your work?
Yeah, I mean, I actually just let Gary handle that, really. At the end of the day, I mean, the songs are really sort of what set the stage for the particularly southern flair in the show, and that allows me to sort of explore music with a non-southern sound to it. And it's a heavy cello-based score. I'd say there are sort of 4 instruments that are featured in the score. It's cello, it's guitar, it's bowed guitar, and it's prepared piano. And then there's some smattering of other instruments. But those are the ones that make it up. And one of the instruments I bought before I started the score, I bought an old upright, and I had my piano technician guy. He actually sawed it in half with a bandsaw. Took the keys right off of it. Score to Meredith's score album. So I was really pleased that they were willing to do that.
A beautiful album, that score album.
Thank you.
And Jace, you have an album that you're working on?
I think I'm just so because the show is as smartly written as it is, and Alan is, as Gary explained, a really wonderful person about letting you figure out, bring your craft to the table and develop that. I guess I'm really excited about continuing to work on scores that are sort of smaller in scope, that I can create at my own studio with unusual instruments. That's sort of something I've really been able to explore in True Blood. I'm excited to do that. The thing I had with Alan was obviously for the pilot, and when I first watched the show, the thing that was exciting and intimidating was the Bill and Sookie relationship, because that's obviously very central to the story, and I knew I had to come up with something that would be memorable and really evocative of their journey together. And so that was, it was just one of those happy accidents. Like I had my guitar, and I was just sort of noodling around, and that's basically what composing is to begin with, and I just found this series of chords and split it up, and there was their theme. And it's been really wonderful to come up with a theme that Alan responded immediately to, and thought it really really enriched their relationship quite a bit. And so challenge for me then as a composer, of course, is to stretch out that theme for 2 seasons and continue to make it interesting and change it up enough that people aren't getting tired of it. And then there are plenty of other characters who have themes. So it's a really thematic show, which is wonderful for me. And Alan's not afraid of melody, which is great, because a lot of directors these days don't want melody. And so it's been really exciting for that scene. But there are just so many. I just get so excited about the many scoring opportunities in True Blood. There are so many great character moments for score. So I just love it. And the other one would be the pie cry scene, I guess, in season 1, where Sookie's eating the pie at the table. I think there was a temp, Brother Wartha, I think was in there originally, and it was just such a great moment for music, because it's literally Sookie sitting at the table eating pie. There's nothing else going on. So obviously as a composer, that's a really exciting moment to write for. And so I wrote a song for that and collaborated with Elizabeth Scott, and she sang it. It was called Take Me Home, and it was a sort of a spiritual, and that was a really exciting moment to write for. And it was also obviously intimidating, because we had to nail it, because there's nothing else going on in that scene.
All right, I want to open it up for some questions. We have a couple minutes left.
Did the producers and stuff do temp scores throughout, and then you had to kind of mimic, or have they kind of left you alone now, or how's that worked out?
Great question. So initially when I came in to work on the show, it was basically all hostile. I scored hostile, and that didn't feel quite right to me, and I expressed that to them, and they liked that. So really from the beginning, it's been they've left it to me to sort of explore as much as I want to, and then sort of pointing me in the right direction. And nowadays they're just cutting in temp score from previous episodes. So very rarely is there anything other than my music, and yes, that's kind of nice.
Want people to run away from melody. How is that? Can you elaborate more on that? What's going on with that?
I don't tend to hear the strong kind of themes in a lot of films that we used to years ago. Yeah, I would agree with you. I think it seems to be happening. I mean, I've definitely worked with directors who say if people can leave the theater after seeing this movie whistling a theme, then I'm going to be really pissed off. So there seems to be, I mean, there's just, especially in the horror genre, it's very atmospheric these days. And oftentimes what we're asked to write is as much sound effects as it is music. And so I think that naturally pulls us away from strong thematic content. But maybe I'm wrong about that, but I mean, it seems to me that there are fewer and fewer really strong, sort of more traditional themes in movies when I go to the theaters these days. When I first saw it, it's a very cinematic show, so I'm sure